the roads if you're traveling. A lot of people abuse the holiday, and a lot of drunk drivers on the roads. Obviously, you'll want to watch for that, but stay safe, stay free, and for the Republic. Okay, so we're back, and again, that segment was recorded under the Obama regime, and I use the word regime. It was a nightmare. It was absolutely a dystopic nightmare for me. I don't.
Why?
Well, one was we saw the attack on Christianity with him, and not just Christianity in general, but some of the other the things like the Second Amendment came under attack. Every time something happened, that was there was a call to ban all the firearms. Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in. So
that didn't happen, though.
Well, it didn't, but we were just a few votes away from it. It's. I would hope they would never be that stupid. I hope, as mentally ill as I believe some of these people are, I would hope that they would never get to the point where they thought they could do something like that to the American public.
You don't think it was just a scare tactic?
What was?
Making people think they were going to come for our guns.
Well, I mean, did you think that? Did you get that feeling, or just that?
Yeah, I think it was just they were trying to get us scared. The whole in the past, I don't know how many years, everything in the media was to get us scared.
Well, what did you feel about them buying up all the bullets? Do you remember any chatter about that?
I remember it being in the media and stuff. I didn't see any, evidence myself.
Hollow point rounds for training. I didn't see anything. All that.
I didn't. It wasn't right here in my face, so it didn't really concern me.
Right. I gotcha.
But as far as the attack on Christianity, I think you are misunderstanding the situation. I think you are doing that defensive thing that you do. You take things personally. You take it to the extreme. I don't think it was an attack on Christianity. I think it was a push to allow other religions freedom. And I find it a common thing that Christians get scared and intimidated when other religions speak about having freedom as well as Christians. And I don't think Christians being asked to make room for other people to practice their religions is an attack on Christianity. I think it's just freedom of religion, which is what everyone preaches, but half or more don't really want it to be.
Well, it's things like what's going on in Mercer County, where one atheist comes in and takes away a whole elective class, not paid for with tax dollars, sues the county, and the county removes that, and that was provided to over 2,400 kids, I believe, every year, had been in place for decades. When you can't, and I know you're going to roll your eyes and you say, oh, well, show me where. I'll provide links under the media player about, where, all the things with children being harassed by teachers when they brought a Bible to school to read in class during open reading. I mean, there's no call for that, and it happened. It's there.
If a Muslim had brought in one of their religious books to read during reading time, among most Christians would throw a fit.
I wouldn't throw a fit. I don't care what they do.
So you're okay with your child sitting there having the Quran read to them?
Hey, a Muslim brought a suitcase with a clock with wires all in it, and and we were forced to be okay with that.
What are you talking about?
When the kid took the school project, quote unquote, in that was made to look like a bomb. His dad was a provocateur. I mean, I'll have to provide a link, and you can look at it later if you don't.
I remember that story, but nowhere did I read that it was made to look like a bomb.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
I think you want it. Once again, I think you want it to be made to look like a bomb,
they
so that
wanted
you can
it
flip
because
the story.
No,
the way that I read that story was they were being prejudiced against him because he was Muslim, and therefore his clock mysteriously just looked like a bomb to a teacher.
Well,
and it just got reported or whatever. But you always do that. You always take a story and you follow the scare tactic path. You automatically make it a big bad scary wolf.
Well, if there's a scare tactic path there, why wouldn't I go down that?
Why would you want to? Why would you want to be a puppet?
Well, I'm not being a puppet. I'm exploring that avenue. Why would it be there in the first place? Why is it put out there? Why is that sob there? But I mean, in going back, I mean, it's just the fact that Liberty, at that point in 2014, you said you personally felt that that the government was coming to put you in a FEMA camp, basically.
No, I didn't say I felt that they were doing that. I just feel like everything that we saw in the media was. The whole purpose of it was to scare us. Okay, so keep us.
You're saying those were scare tactics.
What, the whole buying up of the ammo and trying to come to guns?
You said no. Everything that you saw in the media.
Not
at that
every
point.
single thing, but it was a majority. Don't you have that feeling like the majority of the media, especially there at the end, was just like
you're saying the mainstream
riots
media
and mainstream media riots and
Well, but that's the
killings
thing.
And shootings and just nonstop. It was nonstop.
Well, in that segment back in 2014, I said that maybe a hard reset might that might be what it takes, and we had. Again, and I mentioned the FEMA camps and stuff. I mean, you saw all those things in place, and you just personally said it. And you and I didn't talk about the notes I have here on my on my pad. Mm-hmm. So you said it yourself. You felt like they were coming for you.
I did not say that. You're putting words in my mouth. I do not feel, nor have I felt the entire time that they were coming for me. I didn't feel like the government was coming for me. Well, I feel like it was just a tactic.
You feel
they were trying to keep the public scared by one way or another. Not that they were actually going to come get us, but like if we're scared, we're not thinking of the important things.
So you're saying
this to keep our minds busy.
You're notating that the narrative was out there, but you didn't personally in your mind. You weren't all like, "Oh, the government's coming to take my guns."
No, that's you. That's where you would go with it.
Okay. Well, that's I would be quoting what I saw at that point, especially because I didn't realize how controlled Fox News was.
All the news stations are controlled.
But at the time, you felt like Fox News was that beacon of light out there.
No, you thought Fox News was that beacon of light because that girl on there that looks like Steve Tyler.
What?
Kimmy's got a gun.
Kim Guilfoyle?
Yes.
Leave her alone.
You were just so obsessed with her, and I think she looks like Steven Tyler. But whatever, I digress. So that's why you watch that show all the time. You love Fox News. However, I saw a long time ago that they were just as controlled as all the other stations.
You are a planted disinformation agent. That's what you are.
Why would you say that?
Because that's what you are.
Give us some examples.
I met you over Facebook. Facebook is controlled. Mm-hmm.
So I'm a scare tactic. No. Is that what you're trying to say?
You are a scare tactic. Yes. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, I said maybe a hard reset was what it took, and we that specter at that point, it wasn't so much civil war. You were the narrative was that there was all this going out, just society was on the brink of collapse type thing, that they would show you the cities burning, the stores being shattered, broken into, the reports of the IRS going against the conservative, groups, with their applications, the way they went after reporters.
So you and I think very differently.
Well, then that's what was in the news at that time.
That's what you drew from the news.
No, that's what I saw in the news.
What I drew from it was a completely different narrative.
I know. Kim, at that time, was Kim with Kanye at that point? Or was
Shut up.
I don't know. But anyway, unfortunately, though, we didn't need a hard reset. 3 years ago, if you would have said Donald Trump is going to be the president of the United States, I would have been like, what? I mean, what would you have said if I would have told you 3 years ago, if we would have been sitting here at this table and I've been like, look, I'll bet you $50 that in 2017, DJT will be the 45th president of the United States of America?
Well, I'm more analytical and factual than you are, so I would have to have asked you, why do you think that? But if you would have come to me 3 years ago and said, hey, I heard Donald Trump's going to run for president, I would have been like, well, that makes sense.
Well, I mean,
because he's been talking about it since the 80s.
He's very presidential, and he has. He's been in and out of that for quite a while, but I mean, it was just time, and he's delivering on what he promised, but the people spoke, and instead of the bullet, we had the ballot, and by the grace of God, we don't have the specter of some type of dystopian Big Brother scenario, staring down our throats. Now, there's the deep state. And what I'm going to coin here, I've never heard the term, but I'm going to call, instead of the fake media, I'm going to call them from now on the deep state media. Those in the media that want to push the narrative of things like Russian collusion. And back in 2014, you heard me mention the Russians in that segment, but now back then it was we had the fear of the Russians, and it was now it's the deep state pushing the Russian narrative. Oh, the Russians. I mean, it's just sort of like a broken record, don't you think? I mean,
well, there's that clip of that I don't know if it was a news anchor or someone in the news. I can't remember who it was exactly, but they got him on recording stating that it was all BS. That he literally said, we don't have any hard proof of this. It's just right now, it's just basically BS. They're calling it a nothing burger. That it's, it is. And in my last episode, I talked about how CNN, even back during the first Gulf War, had the whole fake news thing going on where they literally were on a green screen, putting on gas masks, a palm tree in the background. I mean, it was crazy level, just I don't know, but yeah, that really happened. So but now we see the deep state media basically trying to overthrow a democratically elected president, and I'm going to say something, and I'm actually going to try to have him on the show at some point, because we have a good friend. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but he put on Facebook the other day, report
Donald Trump. Let's try to get him. You know who I'm talking about. You saw it. Mm-hmm. You saw it.
Yep.
And I should have taken a picture of that, and I might go back and take a picture of it because I'm going to invite him on the show because is that dirty?